Anthony Cumia was a guest on Sid and Friends in the Morning, Sid Rosenberg on WABC in New York City. It was his second day in a row guesting on there, and they had a big announcement.
And you, way before I was even decent in this business, you were a major star. So people want to hear you. I know the podcast is great. I've been on it. It's a great show. You're a great host. But they want to hear your voice on a New York radio station, a legendary New York radio station.
Yes.
Like WNEW was
right.
Not that long ago. So you've now been on this show 2 consecutive days.
Mm-hmm.
You're in these studios in New York City.
I've taken the tour around the building. I've shaken some hands and met and spoken with a lot of people here at WABC.
And it wasn't like you just got lost on the way back to South Carolina. So you must be here for some reason.
There are discussions.
Discussions.
At very high levels.
Very high.
And we are seeing if we can somehow come to an agreement where the phoenix will rise from the ashes and Anthony Cumia might be back on New York broadcast radio airwaves here at WABC Radio.
Amazing.
This is crazy. This is crazy news that's going on, that Anthony's going back to terrestrial radio in New York.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
insanity.
And so the question is, like, what is he going to be part of Sid's show? What are they doing? And so they talk about that a little bit.
And there's a lot of speculation as to what's going on. And I will say that it is not a Sid and Anthony show.
Not yet.
That we're looking at. Not yet.
That could happen down the road.
You never know in this crazy business shit.
I want to go to Miami a little bit. I'm getting old. I'm tired.
There you go.
Yeah.
But I go to South Carolina.
Show.
But we are such strong presence that it's like putting 2 pieces of plutonium together.
That's exactly what it is.
You get a critical mass. We need to be separated for a little while and see what goes on. But just say high-level talks are going on, and I would love to once again be part of the terrestrial broadcast radio in New York.
Well, I'm involved in those high-level talks, and for what it's worth, I want you here in a big way. So any station that gets you is lucky to have you. So
thank you, sir.
And no station is good enough. Not anymore. Not anymore.
No.
Or a great talent can't help. So I want Anthony Cumia here, and I think so does everybody else. So,
and I want to. I love it.
Welcome aboard.
So, big news. Anthony tweeted this out after that appearance. He says, looks like I'm the newest member of the WABC Talk Radio family. Details about show days and times to come next week. This will not affect my show on Compound Censored at all. Looking forward to my triumphant return to broadcast radio at NYC. Thanks to everyone at WABC Radio. And I have to say, I know that Blind Mike talks a lot about how cancel culture was a big topic, always getting brought up. And is it over? I think this, if it hasn't already been over, this definitely proves that we're done with cancel culture now, that Anthony can be hired by WABC and be back on the radio.
That's amazing. Also, is Opie crying in a corner somewhere? What's happening with Opie?
We're going to get to that. Opie put out a tweet after he heard the news. And he's hilarious. He says, I got huge news. I'm making my triumphant return to CB radio. My live stream will now be heard on Channel 19.
Hope he made a joke.
Good stuff, Opester. It only took him about 9 hours after Anthony's tweet to come up with something. Mm-hmm. So this was brought up during Opie's live stream yesterday morning. And we'll get into it. But first, I got to remind everybody that it's FU Friday.
On this fine FU Friday, what bothered you this week? This is your chance to be a part of the fine podcast and live stream, all right? So let me know in the chat. We'll put you on the big screen, and we'll have a laugh or two. What's up, Nebula? Good to see you.
I got to be honest, the FU Friday thing is not working for him, I don't think. I've never seen someone just like, yeah, you know what I want to say FU to this Friday, Opie. Like, that's what he's going for. Mm-hmm. I just never see it come through.
But he's also doing a bit where they need, like, call-ins. You know, he needs people to be able to call in. You can't really express too much in however many characters they let you. But I would pay Opie's children money to one Friday just open the door to wherever your dad is hiding doing this and just go, Fuck you, Dad.
How much money would you pay these kids? I'll chip in.
At least $20.
All right, I'll double that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in for that. Yeah, so if you have an FU, then he'll put it up on the big screen. Wow, my check can be up on the big screen? Mm-hmm. Then he starts doing his roll call. He's calling out individual people. And Opie, he clowns us for not having original content. Yeah. These guys, all they can do is just react to other people's shows. They can't do original content. And Opie's like, I can do original content. And he's got some really good stuff like this.
How are you, Kyle? Hope you're gonna have a good weekend. We're gonna be running around with our heads in our asses. We got a lot to do, man. You got the two kids. We got a school dance. We got a kids party.
He doesn't talk to adults enough. He's losing his mind.
He needs human interaction more than anyone in the world. He is just craving it. That's the whole point of FU Fridays. That is why he is getting he's tripping up on it.
We got our heads in our asses because we're so busy. What?
He doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah, he has no idea.
How old are these kids, by the way? Should these kids be almost in their 20s? Like all these people use their kids as an excuse. Like Opie's not going to his kid's friend's birthday party.
Right. No.
You know what I mean? They're at least 13, 14. They're in there.
He might stomp the cake.
Right? Oh, yeah, that'd be fantastic.
I know.
If only.
That would be
good. Yeah, you should TikTok that, and that would actually be beneficial.
He stops getting invited to the parties because of that. Yeah. They're like, no, we can't have cake stomping Hughes over here.
Fine. He's not doing all this shit.
Well, also in Manhattan, it's not like they're driving the kids around to things. Like when the kids get older, they can easily get on transportation or whatever they need to do to get to these different activities that they have. But no, he's so busy. They have their heads up their ass. And so he's talking about his recent episode from Gebhard's. And some wild stuff is happening over on that show.
And we're patiently waiting to see if we're all going to get ringworm. I got to send that picture off to Dr. Steve. If you weren't watching the live at Get Bots, Ron the waiter, he has more things wrong with him. He tries to tell everybody that he has the best teeth on earth. He tries to tell people that he's a very healthy man. But every time we talk to him, he has another ailment. And this week's ailment, he has two giant red circles on his lower leg. He says it's from spider bites. He says it's from spider bites that never healed. And he touched everybody and everything. So now we're all like kind of texting each other going, you think we're going to get ringworm?
He wants Ron the waiter to be a character so badly. But I actually was listening to Anthony. I might have even played the clip on the show talk about this. Where he's like, Ron the waiter's on the show at Gebhard's talking all sorts of nonsense. And Opie's too busy staring at the chat to actually engage in the conversation with the guy. So if he wants him to be a character, he's got to at least have a back and forth with the guy every now and again. See what he's up to.
No. Just tell your friend it's probably chiggers. It's always most likely chiggers.
Thank you, Dr. Steve.
You're welcome.
I'm glad we do that now. But he's trying to build up this. Guys, if you're not paying attention to live at Gebhard's, the crazy things are happening. We all think we have ringworm now. Do you? Is that what's going on?
Wait, is that something that Gebhard's wants out there, by the way? The last 4 people who were in our restaurant all apparently spread ringworm to each other. So
no,
half off drinks.
They were just bites from the rats. It's not ringworm. All right, so let's talk more about what's going on with Ron the waiter and this other show.
When are you going to move on from Ron the waiter? Ken R1 says, never. My numbers have been going up.
Okay, let's talk about that. Let's talk about his numbers going up. Mm-hmm. So I was looking at his YouTube page here, and it's interesting to see what gets views. Oh, no. It's when he's talking about Anthony. That's got 1,600 views. Mm-hmm. He's got to think about Patrice O'Neal. It's got 1,500. Bill Burr's got 1,200. Everything in Gebhard's that has 100 views.
Oh no.
187.
Wait, that must have just been loaded like 15 minutes ago.
123. No, these are from yesterday. That's from 3 days ago. 100
3
views.
days, 100 views. Oh no.
It's like the numbers are going up.
Oh no.
Listen, everybody loves Ron the Waiter, obviously.
Who?
238 views, 316 views. And then you look at like Anthony is loyal to nobody but himself. Opie and Anthony crap 4,000 views. Amy Schumer is never great. He's got 1,000 views. Like,
I don't know why you guys are always dragging me back in.
Right. This is all he does is shit talk. That's his only thing that actually anyone wants to see from him.
People love Ringworm, but they don't love Ron the Waiter.
Right.
I don't get it. And then this is something I didn't realize was going on. If you go to his live channel, so he has the last couple things that he streamed up here, and then everything else is members only.
Oh no.
You got to be a member of this channel in order to watch these horrible streams. His FU Friday streams. Come on. I love this business model, though. Well, I'm not very popular. No one's watching it. What if I put it behind a paywall?
It's not very unleashed.
No.
Kind of closeted and chained up.
Opie goes off on a geopolitical rant, which is very un-Opie-like. And I normally wouldn't play a clip like this, except for what the free chat that he put up on the screen while he's doing this.
And then the people are like, we're sick of paying for it. I understand we don't really want to pay for this thing, and others should help pay for the Ukraine thing. But it's a tug of war over there in Europe, and if Russia could just push more to the left, it's not good for the stability of the world.
Shout out to producer Chris as he's going through this rant. It's up on the screen.
I was waiting for him to say, I don't trust any of them.
Right. No, he's very pro-Ukraine. He's like, I can't believe people want Russia to win this war. It was odd that he was going through all this. I never hear him do that. And so later on in the show, he gets back to this. He talks about this quite a bit, actually. And I did something that Tookie taught me. When we were in Largo last year, Tookie was watching Opie, and he went, Opie's show is actually decent. Yes. If you speed it up.
That's right. When he was doing this.
That was my favorite lesson.
If you go 2x time.
Genius.
So I'm going to show you. This is what Opie's political talk is, but sped up at 2x time.
Putin wants to take over all of Ukraine. He's not going to just sit there after he makes a deal with Trump. Like, okay, we're good now. Yeah, you sure? You sure you're not going to go any further? To the west, are you sure? No. Yeah, but you tend to lie. No. Okay, I can trust you.
See what I mean?
Just a little yakety sax and it'd be perfect.
Right. This is the show, Opie. Holy shit.
Like a chicken.
He does bounce around a lot in that chair.
Like Tookie.
All right, let's get into this. So a chatter brings up the fact that Anthony's got a job on the radio, and Opie's going to address that.
I don't want to work. I want to bang on the drum all day. Little Todd Rundgren. Overrated. Thank you very much, but I like that song. Elephant in the room. Anthony seems to be heading to 770 WABC morning slot. So, well, good for Anthony. Like, why is that the elephant in the room? I don't give two shits what Anthony does.
Okay, that's weird because you talk about him every week. Most of your videos on your channel are about Anthony. And then someone's like, hey, Anthony's doing a thing that you used to do. And he goes, why would I care? What do you mean?
In your city where you live.
Yes. At a station that you had conversations with about getting employed by.
Mm-hmm. I turned them down 3 times. I was making more money here.
Well, yeah, we're gonna get into that. So Opie first has to pretend like he doesn't care, or why would he even want to talk about that? She's like, Opie, this is what your show is now. I mean, we all know that. I'm sure you do too. But yeah, this is his response to that.
I don't care. I turned down ABC no less than 3 times since I got let go from SiriusXM. If it works for him, great. But the fact is, they don't have any money.
So he was offered 3 different jobs. And I remember because we actually pulled the clip. We were playing them when we did the live show in Philly, which was close to 2 years ago. And he mentioned that it was a $100,000 offer, but that was to put together the whole show. So if he had other on-air talent, they'd have to get paid out of that $100,000. So that was the sticky wicket for him. And it's not surprising because Opie can't do a show on his own, and he knows that. And so they're going, yeah, we want Opie from Opie and Anthony. You know, it'll be a nice move for us. We'll get a lot of publicity if you're our morning guy. And they had $100,000 to pay him. And Opie's like, yeah, but I need to have at least 2 or 3 other guys in there.
I need to have Ron the waiter, who requires at least $10 an hour.
Yeah, it's gonna be really boring if that's not the case. So Opie continues to talk about this, and this is not the brag that he thinks it is.
Look, it's Super Chat Friday. I haven't even made $1 today. But the fact is, between my live streaming, my podcast, and monetization here and there, I make more money than what WABC has offered me I think it is officially 3 times that I said no to them.
So they're offering you shit money, Opie. He's actually like, yeah, guys, you know what? I actually make so much money on YouTube. You don't. We see it. We see what's going on. I make more money here than what WABC was offering me. Well, then they don't have any respect for your talent.
Nope.
Could you imagine? Yeah, I got a job offer. They totally lowballed me, and you're bragging about it?
Well,
yep.
It's not just lowballed him. It's paying under minimum wage because there is no way that he is making minimum wage on YouTube.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, now that everything's members only, maybe he has 140,000 members on the channel and he's making bank. Highly doubt it.
That's the nicest thing that you ever said.
I know. It was a joke.
Wonderful.
I was being sarcastic. Yeah. So apparently Opie is making money doing this, which I call bullshit.
OnlyFans account that we don't know about, or something? Like, where are these other streaming revenues coming from?
He could have been a model when he was younger.
Those moobs.
So Opie is explaining
that V
why he's not back on radio.
They have no money over there. That's why I'm not on radio anymore, because the money stinks. It absolutely stinks. And I'm kind of damaged goods at this point. So I would have to kind of start from a low level. And I'm not willing to go back on regular radio to make pennies on the dollar. I'm just not. I just don't want that.
What do you think he thinks he means by damaged goods?
That's my question. He goes, I'm damaged goods. And it's like, well, Anthony, the guy that you call a racist every chance that you get, an alcoholic, he's not damaged goods. He got a job.
He was a media darling.
You're right.
The media loved him.
What is he talking about? What is he referring to when he says he's damaged goods?
He's been exposed that he stinks. That's what he means.
That's what I think.
He stinks. He stinks, and I don't like him.
Because he's been trying to get a job on the radio. That's why he does the consistent first thing in the morning stuff. That's why he doesn't swear anymore. When he has guests at Gebhard's, he goes, oh, watch your language, guys. All to prove he can do radio again. And then Anthony gets the job, and Opie goes, oh, why would I even want that job? Probably doesn't pay anything. And meanwhile, everything that Anthony's going to do, we don't know what it is yet. We don't know what his schedule is or anything like that. But he has said he's going to continue to do the Anthony Cumia show on Compound Censored. So it's only adding to his income. This is the thing that Opie doesn't understand. He's just like, well, I wouldn't take a job in radio because I wouldn't make as much money as I do now. Well, why don't you just do that also? They
expect him to do 2 things?
Yeah, why don't you just do both of those things then, dummy?
And from my perspective, it doesn't seem like it's work for Anthony at all. It seems like he takes such pleasure in it.
He loves it.
But this is work for Opie.
Yes.
I think that's a big difference.
For sure.
But even the idea of being on New York radio, Opie, you would open yourself up to a much larger audience. You could then focus on your social media more because you would have an actual audience watching you.
Yeah. The reason why he has 150,000 followers on YouTube is because he was promoting it when he was on the radio for all those years. Get back on the radio and promote the other shit you're doing.
Right.
All right. So, stupid. Yeah, he's dumb.
And the money's in successful podcasts at this point. But look, if he goes to ABC and he's happy, great. I don't give a crap. I just want him to leave me the F alone. It's as simple as that.
Okay. This whole thing where Opie's acting like Anthony won't leave him alone is so infuriating because Opie, all he does is post shit about Anthony. And he's been talking tons of shit about Jim Norton, who says nothing about him. And so is that what he means by leave him alone, like just talking about him on your show? He thinks that is just, he's gone too far. He brought up my name again on his show. I want to leave me alone when Opie's not leaving anyone alone.
Yeah, and Anthony's giving him constructive criticism.
Right. I don't know how Opie makes sense of this in his own head, where he's going, man, this guy won't leave me alone. And we just looked at Opie's channel. Everything is about these other guys. And he does, in this episode, get into bashing Jim Norton again out of nowhere. But
Opie's so unrealistic because it's like, what the fuck else are we going to talk to you about, Opie? Unless we talk to you about things related to Opie and Anthony. I mean, honestly, you've been away from that show for like 10 years and you've done nothing of accomplishment to talk about. It's all just been stuff to goof on you for. Like, there's just like,
this
what does he think?
It's the opposite of glory days. We need to talk about it because there's nothing else to talk about.
Yes.
Yeah, it's definitely eating him up inside that Anthony got this job. Just the fact that he's just like, well, all the real money's in podcasting, so I don't know why he'd do that, but if he likes a stupid job, then he should just take that stupid job and like it then, I guess.
It's a pretty good Opie impression.
Yeah, like we see exactly what's happening here, Opie. So then later on in the show, someone brings up, and we just played this on WATP. I thought Opie learned, but apparently not. Someone brings up this Steve C stuff. Steve C was a producer who I believe went to Greenland after he was let go from Opie and Anthony.
No, he died.
Oh. And so they're talking about Steve C. And someone brings up that, yeah, you know, Anthony was saying you treated Steve C wrong or you were the problem that he had or something like that. And Opie just takes the bait and just goes, oh, that must be what's happening then, and starts firing back without seeing the clip or knowing if this is real or not.
After all the years Steve C gave to the Opie and Anthony show, why isn't Anthony here? I go, I don't know. Jim Norton couldn't be bothered. Steve C dies tragically, and the only two people that went to the wake from the Opie and Anthony show was me and E-Rock. So it's more garbage from a garbage man. And trust me, his family and friends hate him. They're like, oh, I guess he couldn't be bothered. Well, that's great. That's just great. And then if you want to know the truth, then there was a situation where the family needed some funds. And guess who gave them funds? So Steve C is being used by Anthony? Really? Really? To get a few points on me, Ed? Really? The family, the friends think you're garbage for not showing up at the wake.
Seems like he's easily triggered by this. Like that's a crazy reaction to the chat. Opie, any response on what Anthony said about you throwing Steve under the bus? And I think it was a comment that he made about how Opie would talk to management about the employees. I mean, I don't have to go through it. Anthony's talked about it quite a bit, so we know what his perspective is on it. But from this, so he goes, Jim Norton didn't go to the wake, and neither did Anthony when Steve C passed away. And because he started talking about Jim, he had to fucking go off on him.
So he could go screw. I'm not dealing with him and his garbage anymore. Same to Norton. You're a piece of garbage. They couldn't be bothered. Me and E-Rock drove up to Steve C's wake. It was embarrassing because we were the only ones from the O&A show that went.
That's interesting, too. So it wasn't just Jim and Anthony who didn't go. It was everyone but you and E-Rock. So I don't know what to make of that, but it's like...
And insult to injury, he was embarrassed to be there.
Right.
Oh, sorry, buddy.
What a piece of shit.
Yeah.
To be like, yeah, that shows you that Anthony and Jim are the worst people. Like, well, what about Sam? And what about... you can go through the list of all the people who worked on the show.
They're all garbage.
All
of them.
This is what Opie's doing every week. He's calling Jim Norton names. Jim says nothing about Opie. He calls him out nonstop. And then he has the balls in that clip that we just played to go, I wish Anthony would just leave me alone. Okay. I have one more clip from this show because someone calls him out for having the beanie on. I love his reaction to this. I mean, when Anthony was saying that there's 30 people watching, 25 are hate watching, and he's got 5 fans. This is an example of like a hate watcher watching his show.
Gundy, why are you wearing a beanie inside? God, I hate you. Why would you hate little old me, Gundy? I'm freezing if you want to know the truth. And my hair looks like garbage.
Thank you, Opie. I need a thumbnail for this one. I always appreciate that.
He's got to rebrand, man. He's got to lose that Opie thing. I mean, goddamn. Him and Ron Howard.
Wow.
2 of the oldest looking guys going by the name Opie.
Yeah, I know. It's not great. He really should have rebranded. Yes. We've talked about this before.
Guys.
When he went to Westwood One, he was Opie Radio. And that didn't work out in less than a year there. And then he starts up, he keeps doing the Opie Radio podcast. Like,
because he knows no one would know who Gregg Hughes is.
Yeah,
so,
but no one respects Opie.
No.
Right? Would you rather be a nobody than a guy that everyone thinks sucks? Yes. I would think so. I don't know. So, that's what's going on. I'm sure we'll see more reactions from Opie as more news comes out about this gig. And Opie has time to think about it and stew.
I hope Anthony chooses Doggy as his co-host.
Oh, no! Could you imagine? This fucking guy took my pet to be his co-host.
Amazing.
Leave me alone.
Opie has to set up the camera every day for Doggy. Can I get you anything, Doggy, before you start your show? Dick.
Tell Anthony I said hi.
No, don't tell your co-host to leave me alone, Doggy.
Who are these podcasts?